Hello everybody, this is JD again. I'm going to be done the recording. This time I'm going to talk about education, but I'm breaking it down into two parts. Because education actually, our education system, public education system, is great for the 50s, outstanding for the 40s, the 30s and 20s was terrific, far beyond anything, and the early 1900s it was, unbelievable. But today, it is faltering because there's several things. One, it enhances failure. It promotes failure, both at the upper end capable students and the lower end capable students. The lower end by calling them failures, and the upper end by making them non-performers. And plus the subjects are not arranged into a matter that is useful and exciting to the student, but actually boring. So by enhancing failure and increasing boring, our education system is no good. The No Kids Left Behind is the first step, the very first step in improving our education. You teachers who don't like it, well, you have to understand, testing is the only way to grade students, to see what they learned. And if they learned nothing, then it's a total failure. And you teachers who don't like teaching the test, sorry, but that is the knowledge they need. Now, how to enhance the student? First, our grading system. A, B, C, D, E, throw that completely out the window. That is no good. From kindergarten, first grade, and second grade, the only thing should be minimum standards, average, and superior. That's it. Any student that is just passing the standards would be average. Any student that's below would be at minimum performance. Not minimum standard, minimum performance. Any student that's above average or passing will be superior. That's it. You're not putting a competition on the students that young. You want to enhance their learning ability. You want to take what their brain is in the developing years that want to learn, make it really want to learn. So, minimal performance is below average, average performance, and superior performance. And that's it. No passing, failing. And at the end of the year, if the student totally is at minimal, cannot pass on to the next grade. If a student's running an average, of course, and superior, definitely. Okay, at third grade, it begins to change. In the third grade level on, you have the test with percentage. And each subject matter will be by percentage. When a person takes the test, there's no passing or failing. There is a percentage of what they scored. Poor performance, average, and then underperformer. That is important to understand. No student left behind gives you where you want to shoot for your students. Let's say, for example, between 65 and 80%. And that's where the student should always be, between the 65 and 80%. Below the 65 is a poor performer, not a failing student. You're not performing as well as you can. You need to perform better. Learn a little bit more to get into the average performer area. But there is no passing or failing. Never is there a passing or failing on a test. And this is also an indicator to you, the teacher. Hey, I got students in the poor performance area. Now, between the, let's say, 60 and 80 is where the no student left behind area, or 65 and 80. That is your average. That's good learning area. Now, between 80 and 90 is above average. And that's okay. But if a person who is performing constantly on a test between, let's say, 90 and 100, that is an underachiever. He is beyond the level of that test. And his staying in that area makes him an underachiever. Now here's the real problem. An underachiever will get bored with education extremely fast. And you can recognize that by the high test scores. If you look in your schools and your studies, you find that most underachievers, or people who score high on the tests, become failing and not finishing school because they are bored with school. So when you see someone constantly performing in the high 80s all the way to the hundreds and hundreds plus, he is an underachiever. Your system is not allowing him to achieve to the maximum of his capabilities. You need to advance his studies. Whereas one that's running between 65 and 80, he's where he should be. That's good. Keep him there. Watch him, and he should be doing well. He'll fall sometimes in the low 70s maybe, and then back up to the mid 80s. That's good. You got someone you are challenging to their ability. And then those who are falling below the 65, 60, 50, poor performers. They need to improve their performance. That's all. Not failing. Think about that. A kid at home is constantly taught he's a failure. He gets at school, his test grades, failing, failing, failing. What do you have? A kid who believes he's a failure. You need to turn that around. Failing out of the way. At the end of the year, if there's no student left behind, performance is where it should be, they go on. If it isn't, they spend more time in that grade. Also, when you get in high school, you may have some students who will never get above the 9th, 10th grade reading English comprehension level. But they may be in a third year college math and science. And that can very, very easily happen, especially if there's dyslexia involved that had not been detected. So you need to look at how to grade the system. To get rid of the A, B, C, D, E, and throw them completely out of the window. Pass or failing completely out of the window. We have to go strictly on a percentage and your performance. And that's it. And testing is a necessary must. Testing must be there, must be standardized across the country so that we can then decide whether or not this student can function successfully in our society. And if you have a school system where third graders or fourth graders are taking the fifth grade, sixth grade, and let's say they're running in the 50 percentiles, that's very good. Whereas if you're taking fifth graders and they're taking the third grade and running in the good area, that's bad. So it depends on what grade area they're in to what test levels they're doing. And that will tell you, and those percentages will tell you where they're falling on the average. So first and foremost, we need to restructure our grading system, getting rid of pass and fail. The best way to lose a student is to tell them they're constantly a failure, and the second best way is to make them an underachiever by not challenging their abilities. Thank you. This is JD for President. I will get on the second half, maybe today, which covers subjects and what is pertinent to our society today and challenging and what is not. Have a nice day. This is JD.